You are watching Channel Adrian TV.
Yo, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, wherever you're watching this, welcome back to another reaction video. And I just want to say I appreciate all the support y'all been giving me on my sneaker reviews, my morning motivation, Sunday motivation, and other areas of content I put on this channel. But as y'all do know, I'm into The Warriors. That's one of my favorite movies, even though if you watch the movie, it's a little bit outdated. But I found a content creator who's been making videos about each gang from the movie. And I know a lot of people are Warriors fans. I wish they would do something like this now, and I think a lot of people would actually like it. But what I plan to do is, if this is your first video of mine watching my Warriors type series when I'm reacting to all these gangs, after I finish all the videos, I plan to watch the movie with y'all. Let's get into the video. This one is about the Sharpest gang, the Boppers. And if you remember from the movie, they had all the purple on. Let's get into the video. Dun, dun, dun.
They wore purple suits like royalty, walked Harlem like kings. And when it came to fighting, they didn't throw punches, they threw statements.
Okay.
But where did these stylish street legends come from? Were they dancers? Were they killers? Or were they something much, much deeper? This is the untold story of the Boppers. They walk like royalty, dress like swing.
Well, look at that. You can't tell me that's not the 70s. That's sharp now for the 70s now. I'll say that. That's sharp for the 70s.
And move like Harlem ghosts dipped in jazz. But under those purple threads and smooth moves lies something far colder. They weren't just dancers. They weren't just stylists. They were the Boppers, and their origin is more brutal and brilliant than you've ever heard. 1969, Harlem.
Oh, good lay.
A group of teenage dancers forms a crew called the Harlem Bop Kings. Their leader, a 16-year-old dancer named Jackie Duke Mays, known for his jazz footwork and soft shoe shuffle. They perform at block parties, uptown lounges, and train platforms, mixing tap, jive, and Latin rhythm with street-edge flair. 1971. After getting harassed repeatedly by both cops and small-time gangster, shaking down performance spaces, the Bop Kings take matters into their own hands. They start carrying razors and blackjacks. The first incident happens behind the Lenox Avenue Ballroom. A slashed coat, a broken jaw. 1972 to 1974. Okay,
so I liked how they showed you where the Boppers name came from. So supposedly they were a group of kids that started out as dancers, formed a group, and then they started to get harassed, and then that's when the gang life started to come into play. But see, now this picture right here with those suits look hard. From this picture right here, I really don't rock all purple, but just from this imagery right here, yeah, them suits are tough.
Transformation begins. They ditch the name Bop Kings and become the Boppers.
Yeah, see that's clean.
An homage to bebop, but with a menace in the name. No longer just dancers, they're enforcers with rhythm. Why the zoot suits? Two reasons: power and nostalgia. They weren't just about style. The long coats, wide lapels, and flamboyant hats symbolized defiance. A callback to Black and Latino youth resisting oppression during the Zoot Suit riots of the 40s. But for the Boppers, the suits served a modern purpose. They masked weapons, confused enemies, and projected control. The fedora meant leadership. Only made men wore it. Initiates had to earn the brim. To outsiders, they looked like performers. But inside the gang world, it was psychological warfare. Their style suggested they...
And see, and this is what I'm talking about. I love how they put American pop culture history, the zoot suits from the 40s, and all of this tied into one. This is why I said, I think in the beginning of it said Warner Brothers owns the rights to the Warriors, I believe. Don't hold me to that. I just think that's what I remember seeing in the beginning of the video. That's why I think they should bring this back, because if they were going to depth like this in a series or Netflix series, I know I would definitely watch it.
To fight. Truth, they could and would in silence and pinstripes. How they were perceived. The rogues called them peacocks. The Turnbull ACs didn't take them seriously until they lost a turf bet in 1976. The Riffs saw them as flashy but useful, style with substance. Harlem was their home. From 110th to 145th, they ran everything. After-hours jazz joints, protection for artists, tap dancers, and record store owners. Fixers for stolen goods, and especially luxury fabric and vinyl. They didn't sell drugs, not out of morality, out of optics. Drugs messed up the suit game. No cracked-out zoot wearers. They were known for cutting deals with theater owners and old-school hustlers. If you wanted peace on your corner, you paid a bopper. They were hustlers, not thugs. More like CEOs with rhythm and razor smiles. The leader, Jackie Duke Mays. By 1978, Duke was 25, a street scholar who studied Cagney movies like war manuals and quoted jazz lyrics like scripture. He didn't fight unless it was poetic, and when he did, it ended quickly. Duke's rules. Never fight dirty if you can win clean. If you lose your hat, you lose your honor. We walk in rhythm, we strike in silence. He wasn't the biggest, but he was the sharpest. The kind of leader who wore gloves, even when he wasn't cold. The code, all boppers had to memorize the Count Basie Creed, a 12-line oath of loyalty and rhythm. No speaking to outsiders unless in metaphor. You had to defeat a bopper in a dance battle or chess game to earn your first suit. Recruitment. Talent scouts watched subway dancers and tap crews for discipline under flair. The best were approached quietly. A tailor would visit you the next day. If you accepted the custom zoot suit, you were in. Alliances and rivalries.
See, man, this storytelling is just amazing to me. And how they're piecing in, like I said, so much rich history. And you see the pictures. I know y'all saw the Nina Simone in that barbershop window earlier, and seeing all these images and stuff, like I said, man, this is just so dope to me. And that's why y'all see me, that's why I was quiet for that period. I was actually really getting into this video. Then I literally forgot I was filming. So I was like, yeah, let me pause and just tell y'all that. And that's how much I'm into this type of stuff. And you know, when a lot of these older fashion type series, like, I don't know if y'all watch Boardwalk Empire, which was a dope series. I've always been into history because history has always been important to me. And this is kind of like a capsule of history, a capsule of time. I've always loved something that I wish they would do, and I wish they would bring this back.
The Riffs, the boppers were considered valuable satellites, not fully in the inner circle, but Duke was invited to Cyrus's summit. The hi-hats, artistic cousins. Tension existed, though. Too many overlapping turf events in 1978 led to a near war over performance rights. The Rogues, disdainful of the boppers. One infamous fight in 1977 over a Harlem theater job left a rogue with a slashed face.
Dang.
He still wears a scarf. The meeting with Cyrus. Yes, the boppers were there. They arrived late but impeccably dressed. Three-piece suits, feathered fedoras, gloves. They respected Cyrus's message. But Duke whispered afterward, "One voice rules the city. So what happens when it's silenced?" Why they stood out. In a sea of leather vests, face paint, and chains. The boppers were a visual contradiction. They were elegance in a savage city, flash with fangs. Their aesthetic was partly inspired by the Harlem Renaissance jazz-era mobsters, zoot suit riots of the 1940s, blaxploitation icons like Dope and Superfly.
See, and that's what I'm talking about, how they're incorporating the rich history of America. Because I know America does have bad history, but at the end of the day, it's history. And then if you like history like myself, I like how, like I said, they're turning it, how they're involving everything. The 1940s, the zoot suits, Harlem Renaissance, them being in Harlem, Dolomite, all these things. To me, this is just well done. And shout out to this creator, and I'll definitely put link his channel in the description. But stuff like this is one of the dope things about YouTube, when people can show their creative side, because somebody made this. Someone took the time out of their day to create a masterpiece like this, which I think is dope because, like y'all, I know y'all are going to say masterpiece, but since I'm a Warriors fan, I know other Warriors fans, when they see this, they're going to like it just as much as I do.
Walter Hill once said in interviews, "The Boppers were myth. That's the point. You don't mess with men who dress that clean unless you're sure you'll win." What if the Boppers fought the Warriors? It would have been style versus grit. Word is, Ajax once called them tap-dancing phonies, but even he didn't challenge Duke.
And see, I liked how they're involving other gangs like the Hi-Hats, the Warriors, Ajax. This is just very well done.
Answer?
Very well done.
If they had fought, there'd be more blood on velvet than Coney Island could wash off. What happened after the movie? Rumors say they faded out as the crack era shattered Harlem. Others say Duke went legit, opened a jazz bar on 125th, and still runs a quiet crew called the Purple Circle. Could they survive today? Not as a gang, but as a brand? Absolutely. Purple suit drops, Harlem fashion walks, TikTok kids doing the Bopper shuffle. Legacy doesn't die, it just remixes.
See, that's so dope to me, y'all. How he ended this tight in TikTok.
Swagger, strategy, survival. The Boppers weren't just a gang. They were a legacy in motion. Did they live on after the night Cyrus died? Or did Harlem's kings vanish with the beat? Let me know what you think. Could the Boppers have taken down the Warriors? Was Duke the realest boss in all of New York? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if the Boppers style still hits hard. And subscribe to Real Reels for the next deep dive into the most mysterious gangs of the Warriors universe. Because we're not just telling stories, we're preserving the myth. Can you dig it?
Y'all, that well done. Shout out to the content creator Real Reels. I'll definitely link him in the description. And that's it for the Sharpest gang in the Warrior series, the Boppers. Now, y'all, like I said, I'm going to review I'm going to watch the movie with y'all and review it once we watch each video on each gang. But I just want to say I appreciate all the support. If you want to see sneaker videos, workout videos, after workout thoughts, morning motivation, my FanDuel lineups, because, you know, football started up, reaction videos, relationship videos, anything you could think of, subscribe to Channel Adrian TV.